For more than 6 decades, Don Rickles made the world laugh with his razor-sharp wit, fearless roasts, and unforgettable presence. But behind the iconic insult comic known as Mr. Warmth was a life filled with hardship, danger, deep love, and unspoken tragedy. In 2024, years after his death, his daughter Mindy Rickles broke her silence, revealing the untold truth about her father. The mob threats were real, the family heartbreaks ran deep, and the grief over the death of his only son haunted him until the end. Born on May 8, 1926, in Jackson Heights, Queens, Rickles grew up the son of Jewish immigrants, his father from Lithuania and his mother, the daughter of Austrian Jews. Their home was loud, traditional, and filled with stories of struggle and survival. From an early age, Don learned how to turn pain into laughter, a trait that would shape his entire career. Though he wasn't much of a student at Newtown High School, he thrived in drama class, earning a reputation as the clown prince for his fearless jokes even at the expense of his teachers. After graduating during World War II, Rickles joined the U.S. Navy and served in the Pacific. The intense heat and danger aboard the USS Cyrene were brutal, but Rickles used humor to lift the morale of his fellow sailors. That wartime experience helped him sharpen the comedic edge that later defined him. After the war, Don tried selling insurance at his father's urging, but his personality didn't mesh with door-to-door sales. He failed spectacularly and realized he needed to chase what made him happy. That decision led him to enroll in the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in 1948. While drama school revealed he wasn't cut out for serious roles, it gave him the tools to craft something unique. In the early 1950s, Don hit the stand-up circuit. In the Catskills, when hecklers disrupted one of his shows, Rickles fired back with sharp, hilarious insults. Instead of getting booed, he brought the house down. That night, a new kind of comedy was born. His style was loud, confrontational, and unpredictable, but always hilarious. Soon, he coined the term hockey puck as a goofy, safe insult, a phrase that followed him into pop culture and even made it into Pixar's Toy Story decades later. From the 1950s through the 70s, Rickles paid his dues. He performed in seedy nightclubs, strip joints, and mob-run venues where one wrong joke could get you hurt or worse. One night in New Jersey, he unknowingly mocked the wife of a mobster. The man called him backstage afterward. Don feared for his life, but instead, the man laughed and bought him drinks. Those risky encounters added to Rickles' legend, a comic unafraid to joke about anything, even to the most dangerous people. In the Room, Rickles got his first big film break in 1958, acting alongside Clark Gable in Run Silent, Run Deep. It was a serious war film, and he proved he could act without the jokes. But Hollywood didn't quite know what to do with him. In the 1960s, he was pushed into a string of silly beach movies like Muscle Beach Party and Bikini Beach. Critics hated them. Audiences laughed at him, not with him. Even First Lady Barbara Bush once mocked him for those roles. They nearly destroyed his career, but Rickles fought back. In 1963, he took a dramatic turn in X, The Man with the X-Ray Eyes, showing he could handle darker material. Then came Kelly's Heroes in 1970, where he held his own alongside Clint Eastwood and Donald Sutherland. Playing a fast-talking supply sergeant named Crap Game, Rickles nearly stole the show. He finally had a role that matched his energy and wit, and audiences loved it. Behind the scenes, his friendship with Frank Sinatra changed everything. In a famous moment at the Sands Hotel in Las Vegas, Rickles asked Sinatra to walk over and pretend they were old pals to impress a date. Sinatra did, but Rickles waved him off with, "Not now, Frank, can't you see, I'm with someone?" Sinatra roared with laughter and, from that moment on, took Rickles under his wing. That connection helped shield Rickles from the dangers of insulting the wrong people like mob boss Joey Gallo. In 1972, Rickles publicly roasted Gallo from the stage. Hours later, Gallo was gunned down in a mob hit. Rickles had been invited to dinner that night. He declined and likely saved his own life. Throughout the 70s and 80s, Rickles became a fixture on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, appearing more than 100 times. His chemistry with Carson was electric. Carson, the calm host; Rickles, the loud comic firecracker. One night, Rickles broke Carson's beloved cigarette box. Carson stormed the set of Rickles' show, interrupting filming in one of late-night TV's most legendary unscripted moments. Rickles thrived in those environments, live, loose, and raw. But scripted sitcoms, not so much. His attempts at variety shows and sitcoms in the late 60s and early 70s failed until CPO Sharkey came along. Set in a Navy training center, it let Rickles blend his military background with his unique style. It ran for 2 seasons and proved he could lead a successful show if the format was right. Then came the Dean Martin Celebrity Roasts. From 1973 to 1984, Rickles dominated those stages. Whether roasting Bob Hope, Frank Sinatra, or even Ronald Reagan, Rickles delivered brutal jokes with a warmth that somehow made everyone laugh even when they were the target. But offstage, Rickles' life was deeply grounded by his family. In 1965, he met Barbara Sklar, a calm, no-nonsense woman who wasn't impressed by his fame. She didn't laugh at his jokes, and that intrigued him. They married and stayed together for 52 years, raising 2 children, Mindy and Larry. Barbara was his anchor, traveling with him, supporting him, and staying out of the spotlight. Rickles often joked about her in his act, but in private, he credited her with saving his life. In 2011, tragedy struck when their son Larry died from pneumonia at just 41 years old. Larry had followed in his father's footsteps, producing the Emmy-winning documentary, Mr. Warmth, the Don Rickles Project. His death devastated the family. Don, already in his 80s, never fully recovered. Then in 2021, Barbara passed away on what would have been their 56th wedding anniversary. That poetic ending to their lifelong bond stunned even their closest friends. In 1995, Rickles surprised everyone by appearing in Martin Scorsese's Casino. Alongside Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci, he played a straight role as the head of casino security and delivered it flawlessly. Even on that serious set, Rickles couldn't help himself. He cracked jokes between takes, even making De Niro break character, something almost no one could do. But perhaps his most unexpected legacy came from a children's movie. At 69, Rickles was cast as the voice of Mr. Potato Head in Pixar's Toy Story. At first, he wasn't sure it would work, but he improvised like he always had, and Pixar built the animation around his voice. Kids around the world fell in love with the sarcastic Spud, and Rickles suddenly had a new generation of fans. To his grandkids, he wasn't the man who roasted Sinatra, he was Pop Pop, the potato. He returned for every sequel, and even after his death in 2017. Pixar used old recordings to keep his voice alive in Toy Story 4. Rickles kept working until the very end. At 90, he had more shows planned and was developing a TV project. He died just weeks before his 91st birthday, surrounded by family. His wife was by his side. His daughter, Mindy, now carries on his legacy, not just as the greatest insult comic in history, but as a man who gave deeply to others. He donated to children's hospitals, supported fellow comedians, and stayed loyal to his roots. Don Rickles may be remembered for his biting jokes, but those closest to him knew a different man, generous, loving, and kind. The real story of Don Rickles isn't just about the laughs, it's about the heart behind them. Ask ChatGPT.